What's up, guys? How you guys doing? I hope you're well. Adesso tra 5 minuti cominciamo il live con Stefan Brandow, grafico freelance originario di Pittsburgh, che adesso vive in Ohio, esattamente non so dove, però glielo chiederemo e parleremo di coronavirus appunto in Ohio, come mai sta pattinando con i Salomon e cosa vuol dire essere un grafico freelance in questo momento in America. I'm going to switch it as well in English. We are going to talk with Stefan Brandow, freelance graphic designer, and we are going to talk about what is going on right now in Ohio. He's originally from Pittsburgh, I would say, but I'm not quite sure. We're gonna ask him about it in a minute. And so yeah, we are going to ask him what is going on right now in Ohio. What does it mean right now to be a freelance graphic designer in the United States, and what's going on with those Salomons? So yeah, make sure to write here down your questions, and yeah, we'll be live in a couple of minutes. What about you guys? How you guys are doing good? I see here live. Having some trouble here with this connection. Sims, come stai? Tutto bene? Matteo, cazzo i video, mi sono dimenticato i video, Teo, scusami, perché sto pattinando tanto. No, non è vero. Grande Peter. Ciao Reto. How you guys are doing in Switzerland? Everything's fine? I do really would like to make an episode with you. What do you think? Would be great. Gonna say hi to everybody in here. What's up? What's up? Oh, Stefan is reading here. Vado a scatti, Teo? Ho problemi di connessione? Grande Sims. Ti devo rispondere, Sims. Domani ti chiamo, va bene? Ciao Sven. Tutto a posto? Che stile. Come sta Umago, Sven? Tutto bene? A me vanno lenti con commenti in realtà. Cioè vedo dopo un po' chi si connette, chi non si connette, eccetera, eccetera. Is it the audio okay? Can you guys hear me? One of those legendary skateboarder here in Milan, and yeah, it's my man. Yo!
What up, brother?
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Now it's working, thank God.
Yeah, exactly. What happened yesterday?
Took a minute.
I don't know. Like I was watching even Dominic Bruce live stream, and it seems that he also had some problem within his connection. So
there was somebody else I was talking to too that couldn't get on. So I don't know what's going on with it. Probably because everybody's home and live streaming right now.
Exactly.
So how you doing, brother? You doing okay?
Yeah. I'm doing very well, actually. I'm doing nothing most of the time.
Everybody's good.
Yeah. Luckily, at the moment, we are all good. So yeah, thank you so much for asking it.
Of course. Yeah, you guys have it the worst now. I feel like that's going to be us soon.
Yeah, that was like I was watching the telly earlier today, and it seems like the numbers of the infected people in the U.S. are like growing super fast, isn't it?
And the thing that a lot of people like don't understand too is that with like Italy too. Italy is the closest thing to Italy in the U.S. would be California as far as like size and population. They're not exact, but that's the closest thing. So if you think about it, that's one of our 50 states. So granted, our numbers as a country are going to be way higher because our states are as big as European countries, you know, like we've got as many people in a state as a country, and that's inside of our country. So I don't think people realize how crazy the numbers are going to shoot up because of that. So obviously the US is going to have more, but I also don't think that people have taken it here as seriously as they've needed to until, I want to say, like maybe like the past week. And there's still certain states that aren't taking it very seriously.
Yeah, like
There's some that are going like one direction and completely locking down, and there's some that just don't care.
Like so, Texas, right?
Yeah, I heard West Virginia was another one because they had no cases, because it's like very, very spread out there. It's very like country. But I think the biggest issue for us is that there's nothing coming from the top. Like the national government as a whole, I don't think is doing enough. And the states are having to then take it upon themselves to protect themselves. So you see a lot of states that are doing specific things to protect themselves when they're not getting anything from, like a higher up branch to help.
Which doesn't make any sense, because like it's a global emergency. Like the proper.
Well, I mean, consider who our president is. Like he's giving out false information. He's telling people to take these these cures, and it's ridiculous to me that after all of this, there's going to be people that still support him. I think it's ridiculous that people have supported him up until this point. But I think now with all of this, where it's very obvious that our senators, our governors, our president only care about the economy and money and not its inhabitants, I think that's something that has been widely known for a while. But I think if people don't take that seriously now, I just don't understand. I think that's kind of going to be the thing where a lot of countries call, Americans stupid. We'll just keep proving them right in that point if people continue supporting this administration and what they're doing.
Hey, same thing happened here. I was talking with Miguel before, and there are like people here who are like super supportive on the right-wing party that we have here in Italy. And the crazy thing is the fact that like it's people at our age. They're not like the old people. They're like the 20-something people, 30-something people that's supporting the right wing, and which is, I don't really get it, but
Do you guys have a two-party system too?
Yeah, we do have it. Kind of similar as yours, like Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah,
but
like I have had that discussion many times over the past like 2-3 months, that I feel like the two-party system is our biggest failure right now, because nobody is helping each other out. It's a this against this. Well, this party said this and I'm with this party, or this party said this and I'm with this party, instead of people actually coming together and working together. So I feel like that two-party system is like a massive, massive issue that we have here now. And I don't foresee it changing too. So I don't know. I don't foresee things getting better on the government side, regardless of what's going on with the virus.
But what do you think is going to happen at the election day, if they're going to make an election day in November?
I truly have no clue right now. I feel like so much of it is up in the air. The Democratic election voting here in Ohio was suspended and postponed because of everything that was going on. So a lot of it's kind of being pushed back. So I mean, even like now, like I've seen a lot of countries too have been saying, we're not going to send our athletes to the Olympics.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So you have to cancel it and postpone it, or we're just not sending athletes. So I think they finally came around to that too. But I feel like a lot of things are going to be postponed for a while, or just changed or pushed back. Because I just feel like it's too much time wasted, like that we're all going to be stuck for good reason in quarantine, that, things just aren't going to operate the same way. So I have no clue what's going to happen with political things here, especially with what's going on right now. It's going to be, of course, this had to happen in an election year. Like it's going to be wild.
Yeah, man, I bet. My wife, she's really into the political world in the U.S. She's following a lot of podcasts, and she's reading a lot of books about it. And right now, we were talking earlier today about like Sanders and Biden. There's like, which one do you prefer? Like, because they both look cool, but like in my opinion, the story of Biden looks more. I wouldn't say romantic in a way. It looks like it looks to me like the American dream, somebody who's like really taking it seriously and then like get it to the point to making it actually. How do you feel about like those two persons.
I also kind of feel like anybody that is going to choose Biden over Sanders when Sanders actually cares and is actually trying to give us the things that we want, I just don't see how you can support somebody that is giving no plan of attack, no real reasoning for what they're doing, you know. And the thing is too, it's like if you say you support what Bernie Sanders is doing, people automatically think you're a Democrat. And that's not to say that there's just as many Democrats that are horrible humans that are greedy and don't care about the public as there are Republicans. It's not a one party or the other party thing. Like there's garbage humans in both parties. I mean, to get into politics, you need money, and money is supported by corporations. You know, that's how a lot of these things happen. That's how a lot of votes happen. It's we'll give you the money to get in if you are on our side. And that's on both parties. But to see what Bernie is doing and caring about, those are the things that we as a country need. And I just don't understand how there's people that don't want those things. Like, how are we, you know, supposedly the greatest country in the world when so many of us don't have healthcare? And it's insane amounts of money to have proper healthcare. Like that should not be an issue. Like how many other first world countries have that and it's not a concern? Like I just don't understand where our issue is. Also, when we can put in trillions and trillions of dollars into the stock market to save it, to have it bump up for a half an hour and then have it go back down. Like all that money is going into that, but it can't go to the people. Like there's just like a disconnect from what our government wants and its people. It's all greed and money.
When in the beginning, when I was watching the few infected people in the US, I was talking with Gino Gotelli, the photographer from San Diego, and like we were discussing because he was like, hey, please tell me the truth about like what's going on in Milan, because I'm really worried about like something like that could happen here in the United States. And like we were talking about it, and like one of my concern was the fact that like how the healthcare system of the United States could handle the situation, because of course you guys have like the private system. So for the majority part of the poor people, the black ones, the Latinos, and like the white one, poor ones, they're not able to get nothing from the healthcare, right?
Yep. And unfortunately, those are probably the people that will more than likely get the virus, because
yeah, exactly,
they are in bad health. They're probably living in urban areas where it's going to be easier to pass. So it's just, and the thing is here too, like there's so much disinformation and there's so many things coming from like everywhere. It's hard to figure out what I don't want to say what the truth is, because that sounds a little ridiculous, but it's hard to know what is actually happening. It's almost easier like me asking you like, hey, are you guys good? Like what's going on? Like that's the cool thing about rollerblading and being connected to so many countries and so many different people, you know, from so many places. You can hit up a friend and say, hey, like, are you okay? What's going on? Like, tell me the truth of like what's going on, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That is why I'm doing, I've started to do this kind of stuff, because I was wondering to see how my friends all around the world are going, and like what was going on in their country. And yeah, that is like the main goal of
it's the easiest way too.
Exactly. And we can spread like the word to the people who's watching it right now, and so yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. But like you are right now, like you've been super famous for your graphic that you have done for different companies. And how does it work for you right now? Are you still able to work on some like project and stuff like that?
So I have not had a lot of freelance work the past few months, and that's slightly by choice, because I've started to work for a visual merchandising company here.
Okay.
So in Columbus, we have a ton of massive retailers that are headquartered here. So we have like Hollister, Abercrombie, Victoria's Secret, Express, Bath and Body Works. We have all these massive brands, and they're all headquartered here. So what the company I work for does is we'll go to these brands and we'll help them out with their floor sets in their retail spaces. Or, you know, I've done random things like even going in and helping with samples on a photo shoot for Abercrombie, just all kinds of like random things. So most of my main income has been from that the past few months. But because a lot of those companies have sent all of their workers home, there's nothing for us as contractors and freelancers to do there. So I got lucky where I've had a few people ask me recently, like, hey, like, are you still doing freelance work? Like, are you still taking jobs? So I got lucky in that aspect where I had that. And then not by choice, but I have been planning on releasing Outward in March for the past few months. Like, unbeknownst to me, with all of this virus stuff happening, it just so happened that like when I released it, when I was planning on releasing it, was right in the middle of all this. So I'm kind of also banking on that a little bit to be a source of income. Normally I try not to have anything clothing related like that I do, like to guarantee, you know, taking any, don't make enough and you have to like, you know, spend that money to make more product to make money. So it's never guaranteed, but I'm lucky enough that Outward's doing pretty good right now, and that I had enough, you know, work through my normal job, and that I also have some freelance work coming in. But this is, it's like I've been telling people, this is just the start. Like I believe in the next month or two, it's going to get really bad and scary here. And I feel like a lot of people's, you know, a lot of people got sent home for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, for a month. I feel like those dates are going to get extended because this is going to get worse and worse and worse. Yeah, as the numbers rise and the infections rise, more and more people are going to be sent home, or you know, their stay at home is going to be extended, their work from home is going to be extended. So it's going to get weird. Like I don't think anybody knows what to do.
Exactly.
Kind of like one of those day by day things. So for the moment, I feel like I'm more than good, and I'm just going to keep pushing and doing what I can do.
Exactly. Which is the best way to survive after all of this. I have like a friend of mine who lives in Shanghai, and he just told me that like right now they are saying that like to us it's going to take like at least, just like you were saying, a couple of months to go back, not in a normal way, but like kind of a okay where like everybody could slowly start back work, like and doing like their own stuff,
normal things.
So yeah, exactly.
And I've kind of seen too, like, is it true that a lot of Italian cases are starting to, I don't say be healed, I don't know what the exact wording is, but a lot of cases they're like overcoming the virus. Is that something that's actually happening?
The thing is, like, the government says at the very first beginning, like at the beginning of March or something like that, they said, guys, please stay home, try not to go around to the city, get yourself like a self quarantine for like 2 weeks, so we can like decrease the numbers of infection, because like slowly the numbers were like going up. And then what happened, like all around the city you see like old people or like old people with their kids and stuff like that. So that is why like a lot of the people getting infected was like people at 50, 60 plus, and all of a sudden, like it has been passed by their like grandsons or like their family members and stuff like that. So that is why like it spread out that quickly here in Milan, and in Lombardy actually, especially because like it's not only Milan. The main cities are like Bergamo and Brescia, which are like two over there. Like it's a massacre, a war zone.
So do those two cities specifically have like a smaller or an older population?
Yeah, they do. Like like the whole country of Italy, it's like an old country. It's been like probably I have like, I don't have the numbers, but I do think it's like the 30% of the people here in Italy like are old persons. So yeah, like the whole country is like it's in danger, you know.
I think the weird thing for us is going to be the difference between city and urban areas, and then our like more spread out country suburban areas. The differences between them, like, yeah, like the, you know, the country suburban places may not get hit as bad, but those people don't have access to a lot of things. Like, perfect example, like where I grew up, we have 3 stoplights and 1 grocery store, you know, and wow. the closest city is an hour away. Like the closest hospital is half an hour, 45 minutes away. So if it hits there, what are they going to do compared to here, where we have 2, 3, 4 hospitals down the road in the city? You know, like back home where I grew up, it's, if anything happens there, like sure, it may not hit there at all because it's so far removed, you know, from any other cities or urban life or people traveling in and out. but it's what happens if it does hit there. I think that's the big thing about the US compared to other like European countries where everybody is so, kind of like jam-packed and tightly knit, and like European countries are like the size of some of our states.
Yeah, just
So
like
I
Texas,
think
for example.
it's going to be that. I think that for us is going to be a weird thing that plays out that I'm not sure a lot of people are going to, know how to handle.
No, exactly. I mean, there are like a lot of states here, like for example, Spain. Spain is like is in mad danger because this thing hits Spain super bad, or like in France is going to be the same way. And then like we do also have like those small villages here in Italy. Like a week ago or like 10 days ago, there was like this little city pretty close to Bergamo. They had like 10,000 persons living there, and like in one day they had like 400 cases in one single day. So it was like a proper war zone, I would say.
That's kind of, I think, what a lot of the healthcare workers and professionals are saying. Like here is like they're pretty much preparing for war because
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
know how to handle it.
It is. I mean, like if you see like there were like pictures of army tracks carrying coffins of people because like the cemetery weren't like able to.
It's starting in New York City too. They're
Oh my goodness.
literally bringing refrigerated like grocery trucks, like the semis of grocery trucks, to transport the bodies because they can't get rid of enough of them. And it's like it's dark. It's getting dark. Like it's
Yeah.
and that's what I don't understand why people aren't. And I say this a lot about like rollerblading too, which is funny, but I feel like people are focusing too much on the things that don't matter, and they're not focusing on the stuff that does matter. Like there's things that people are freaking out about that don't really make a difference in what's going to happen, and then the important things are kind of getting forgotten. So it's I don't know. Like I said, it's going to be a weird one. I'm not sure how things are going to go here.
Yeah, it's crazy. But like, let's change the topic because yeah, just like you were saying, it was getting like it is already
we
like
talk about it. Everybody talks about it daily now.
no,
Daily, so.
it's like what I intended for. But I also would like to talking to you about like the Salomon, for example, or
There's other stuff going on.
yeah, what is going on with those saddles, man? I have to say that like the ST Feinberg, they were like my very first pair of rollerblades that I bought with my own money. When I saw you skating with them, I was like, oh man, those skates are the best.
It's funny because I had a pair of the SD80s growing up, and those were always my favorite skates. So I got one of each. I got like a pair of Feinbergs and I got a pair of SD80s. Both people on Blade Trade on Facebook, both from the UK. So they were selling them for cheap, and even with the shipping international, it was, I just grabbed them both. But I always thought like growing up that I loved the SD80s, and now that I have a pair again, I love the setup that I have with the Feinbergs. So I've just been skating those. So it's been fun just trying out different stuff and trying to figure out my crazy insole combinations in there for me, like jumping off so much stuff. And I had like every pair of skates I've had for probably the past 10 years, I've had an SL sole or an SL shock absorber underneath the liner, and then a footbed, then the liner, and then inside the liner, I have a footbed with an arch support.
Okay.
So that's been my setup for like, people always say, they're like, why are your liners so high? I'm like, well, I've got, this much stuff underneath them. But that's also how like people always say, like, how do you jump off stuff and it doesn't hurt? And I've never understood. I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, why? It doesn't hurt when I jump off
Just because
stuff.
like
yeah, I've got so much stuff underneath there. It's kind of like a joke now. Like I've got like so much stuff under there, but it works for me. That's how I like to skate. So
you're jumping off roof, so yeah,
so like,
there has
the
to be
only way.
something.
Yeah,
exactly.
So
And like which are like the differences between like the Razor's Code, like that you felt between like the Razor's Code, the Roces and the Salomon? Which one are like the ones that you really enjoyed skating?
I feel like the Cult and the M12 are close enough. Like they're more than close enough, and especially like depending on how you set them up. Like with me, like if I my liner situation the same, like they feel close enough. I really liked shifts, surprisingly. I know a lot of people like SLs and are still skating SLs. I wasn't the biggest fan of SLs, which is partly why I switched to Cults in the first place. But I loved shifts. Shifts were incredible. They're one of my favorite skates ever. I actually bought not the rain liners, but the first shift liners, like the stock shift liners. I actually bought those for my SD80s because I loved those liners so much. But I loved that skate. That skate was amazing. The Salomons are weird because I've done like such a hodgepodge of like different liners and different sole plates, and I've got like God soles that I like sanded down. I've got Adapt soles that I sanded down. So it's like it's all kind of like, even with the same boot, it kind of changes like depending on the session. Like even putting in different like laces, because you know Salomons have like the lace lock.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're putting. I've noticed like different thicknesses of laces make a difference on how tight the skate can get. So it's just kind of random depending on the day. Like I've got my girlfriend and I went out for probably what was like our last little like fitness skate around the city. We live right next to a park.
Okay.
So the park that we live off of, it's comparable to Columbus, what Central Park is to New York. Like it's our like main park in the city.
The main
like,
park in the city.
So we just take the dog there because it's right out the door. We went to take the dog out, and there were so many people out and about because it was the first nice day. So it was like the first sunny, warm day of the year, and everybody's off work right now because everybody's working from home, and it was just packed with people, and we just didn't feel comfortable. So we got our skates and we went down closer to downtown in the city, where we have this like river walk that's got like a big bike path and whatever. And it was pretty much dead because nobody was out and about. So we like skated around there. But when we put our skates back in my trunk, I just got liners and I've just got so many different things.
A skate shop.
Yeah, like exactly. Like the last time I sessioned, I was like switching out liners and like trying different setups. And it's just like, when you're in the middle of a session, it's just like you throw shit together and like throw it in there quick. So, Kevin doesn't care about anything but the dog.
Show the dog.
Here, Kevin. Here's Yoshi. Yay. This is what everybody wants to see. Nobody wants to see me. Who's that? You say hello?
Yeah.
She's got her chicken nuggets right now, so she doesn't care about it. Yeah, I feel like the dog, people care about the dog more than anything I do, which is fine.
Did you already started the Instagram the meme Instagram channel with him, with the dog? Was it like a thing that you wanted to do, or did I misunderstand?
My girlfriend had an Instagram account for her, and then we just consistently add, because she's got such a personality that she's always doing something ridiculous. So we always get really, really good photos, and it's like it's impossible to not share them. So there's a couple girls at my mom's work back home that like wait for Yoshimi pictures to get posted online. So
Yoshi is like the character from Super Mario, right?
It is, but her name is Yoshimi.
Yoshimi. All right.
Yep. So we call her She's got so many nicknames. We call her Yoshi for short. Yosh, Moo Bird, Miss Bird.
Got a lot of different names.
She answers to all of them. Pickle is a big one we call her.
And I can see like right there the Captain America action figure.
Yeah, I've got all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh man, look at that.
Got the Flash, Morrissey,
Cap.
I got all kinds of Caspa stuff up here.
Wow, no way. Did you make those graphics?
No. So Jeremy Batehall, he used to do all the artwork for 4x4. Caspa was like his thing for a really long time, and he like just started doing stuff again. So like that was the first thing that I kind of like latched onto growing up skating.
Okay.
Because I mean, the era that I grew up in was like the TRS Access with like the open flaps and like sweatpants, and like being a kid that grew up in like the punk and hardcore scene, like I didn't see anybody that like dressed the way that I dressed or like was into the same things I was. So when Forever Now came out, that was like it for me. I was like, cool, like these are like, this is what I do, like there's other people like me, and that was it. So, and Jeremy was in there, and like, you know, all my favorite skaters is like Charles Dunkel and Ollie Short and Mikey Yeager. It's like all these people were involved with Caspa, so that was like the first thing that I like latched onto as a kid. Like this, like, oh, this is awesome, like this is what I love. And then I didn't even realize I lived like 2.5 hours from a city called Erie, Pennsylvania. It's a tiny little city, but they had an indoor skate park. So my dad would take me to different skate parks every like so often. And one time we went to Erie, and to find out Jeremy Batehall worked at that park. So
No way.
hey, like, you know, I had like, you know, Casper spray painted on my skates and everything. So I got to kind of like get right in with those guys. And so I still talk to Jeremy all the time.
Like, does he like ever skate it, or like, does he skate every now and then?
He every once in a very great while, he's does so much with art. Like art is his main
Mm-hmm.
source of income. So he never wants to hurt his hands.
Makes sense.
That's, you know, without, you know, if he falls and messes his hands up, he's screwed. He can't paint, he can't draw. So yeah, he's always watching skating now that Instagram's a thing. He's always out and about commenting on stuff. And but yeah, him and Dunkel and Ollie and Micah, like that was like, I mean, still to this day, that's like what I love to like watch.
Mamma mia.
I'll just go back and watch Face the Music over and over before I watch anything that's put out now.
Makes sense. So am I with the 4-2 or those video from like the early 2000,
Yeah.
Future Pole Bidding 2 or Coup d'etat or those kind of stuff, Wuji 16, Wuji 19?
Yeah, it's
Maybe,
like it's all the stuff that like people grew up with, and I always tell people it was just so good for me. I kind of like had a couple years of like me growing up skating, not feeling like I was a part of it, and then that stuff hit right when I was like starting to really get into skating like more and more, and like really try, and like all the Negretti videos and like the Face the Music era of Roces, like all that stuff hit when I was like, you know, going into college and coming out of high school, and I was like impressionable. So like that's the stuff that really like sticks with me. And I just, like I said, I'd rather watch Charles and Ollie all day, every day than anything new that comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's crazy because right now it seems like it's pretty hard for me, but that is my personal opinion, to get motivated by the majority of the video that I'm watching right now, as I was back in the day. Like back in the day, I was watching, for example, it was coming out Coup d'etat. Okay, perfect. I'll go after watching this. I'll go out skate, and I'm super pumped. After watching 4-2 or 4-3, I'll go out and skate, and because I'm super hyped by the video that I just saw. Yeah. Right now, it seems like it's pretty difficult for me, even if like
I feel the opposite. Like I'm more stoked now, and I think that's because that era that I grew up in, creative skating wasn't cool. Creative skating was, hey, you're not skating this handicap rail and doing switch ups. What the fuck are you doing? You know, why are you skating those little things and doing those manuals and toe rolls? And I feel like that type of skating is the norm now, and creative skating is kind of expected. So I feel like it's a lot easier now for people to kind of have fun and do what they want. And this is a big thing that people talk about here. Like we were just talking about, like Americans not having the best healthcare. Why am I going to go throw myself off you know, a drop rail or some scary spot that I might get hurt on for what? To post it online? Like it's not
an
worth
Instagram
it.
story.
Yeah, like I'd rather have fun skating, and
Exactly.
I think that now that creative skating is a little bit more accepted, and like I said, I feel like it's the norm now. Like I get pretty hyped seeing a lot of stuff. Like I just said in somebody's video, I really like what Pat Ritter and like the FTS guys are doing. Like they're filming and editing is amazing, but like what they're doing, it just looks so fun. So, and like we were just talking about like the you know, the Face the Music era and like the Negretti videos and those guys, that was like, and I see Doug Cupo in here, that was like a top to bottom attitude. It was the song you picked matched, you know, the shirts you were wearing and the skates you wore and how you wore it, and the way it was edited was like all an attitude, you know. And I think like that's not, I feel like the last thing that we had that was like that was maybe like SSM, like the SSM era.
Probably,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they had like a very specific look and feel, and like everybody, like, I don't think it was like a uniform, but it was like the denim vest matched the way they were skating, and the music they listened to, like it was all like it was a thing, like it was a style and an attitude. And I feel like that has been missing from skating for a very long time.
Yeah.
When people do that, I feel like it's more of like a person honing in on that as opposed to like a group or a team or a crew, you know what I mean? Because I feel like as skating has gotten smaller, you know, like a crew of dudes, like the crew of dudes that are left in a city that skate, they're all not going to skate the same. As opposed to like before, where like when I was growing up, I remember there was like 5 or 6 groups of different people with like 5 to 10 kids in each group in the same city. And, you know,
Damn.
now it's like you'll get lucky to have 4 or 5 people at a session.
As
So
a session, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like everybody's not all the same now, but I feel like I always think of like Jay from France.
Jim
Like
McFly.
yeah, like he's just like he knows the shit that he's into, and he just is like full on. That's like what he likes, and that's that kind of thing. And like I like that, but like you can also see him skating and filming with people that have nothing to like. They don't skate like him or listen to the same music as him. So I think that's really cool too. Like I think that's something that also where beforehand, like in the Face the Music era and like those Negretti videos and stuff, those guys latched onto each other because they didn't have anybody else like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now that like all kinds of skating are more accepted, and you know you can get inspiration from somebody that skates a completely different style, and you know, I feel like everybody's kind of like these crews are just like a multitude of different kinds of people and personalities now. So in that aspect, I feel like skating is in the best place it's ever been as far as like acceptance and creativity and everybody doing their own thing. But obviously, you know, numbers and people, the amount of people skating, like it's not the greatest, but it's exciting to hear that all of these skate shops are saying that they've had the best years that they've had the past 2 years, you know, like I think that was like one of the Winter Clashes. Somebody had one of the talks about the skate shops were all saying that they had the best year that they've ever had. And that's amazing to hear. I don't know if that's because of old dudes coming back into the sport, or because here in America, I don't see young kids on skates.
Mm-hmm.
In America, I see older guys that used to skate back in the day
Coming back.
Yeah, but I don't really see new kids. So I don't know where those numbers are coming from, and like, you know, like Loco or Head on Skate. Like I don't know if that's young kids that are starting, but at least in America, I never see new kids starting. It's always old dudes that used to skate.
It's pretty cool what you were saying, because I was watching earlier this morning Brain Fear Gone, and I've watched like the whole video, and I've
That's
been
so funny.
through.
I watched Elliot's Brain Fear Gone section this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I was like thinking while you were saying like what is going on right now within like all of this creativity by the blader, and like everybody skating their own way, and everybody like is like figuring like the way to skate as they wanted to. It was the same thing, and like the message coming out from what Dustin Latimer said at the end of the video when he's doing like this the long line. Do you remember that?
Just speaking about it, yeah.
He just speak about that kind of stuff, and that's pretty cool to see that like after 20 plus years, like what he was saying became like the truth. And
yeah, I mean, he was always ahead of his game, and you know, way ahead of the curve and trends and everything going on. But I think that everybody started skating because a big part of it was there's no rules, and that was like a big part of it for me. Is like I was so big into basketball and soccer growing up, and if the team you were on didn't care, you know, you weren't going to win. And what's the fun in that? You know, I played on a basketball team where I was the only one that, you know, went to summer camps and wanted to go to like college for basketball, and I was like very into it, and the rest of the team, they just did it because it was something to do during the winter, and that's not fun. And that was one of the things about skating. It's like I can go skate when I want, where I want, how I want. You know, if I'm into, you know, a certain type of music or something, I'm not forced to wear a uniform. I can wear something of the things that I'm into while skating. You know, and I, like that's like such a cool thing about skating. I don't know of anything else that's creative and also physical at the same time. You know, like what physical sport can you also be creative and unique in your own personal self at?
Man, it's like, it's crazy because the same thing happened to me before starting skating in 2000. I was playing soccer, like on a good level, I would say, but I was pissed all the time because like my teammates, they were like lazy asses, like they didn't want to go to practice. They like during the games, they were like, I don't want to play well. I don't feel it. Fuck it, blah blah. And I was
it's just
so
something
mad.
to do as opposed to like being passionate about it.
Exactly. I was like really hyped to be, you know, with my friends playing and stuff like that. But then like game after game after day after game, like watching and witnessing like those kind of stuff, I was like, man, I'm tired about that thing. And like at the same time, I started skating, and I realized the fact that like, I was able to do my own thing by myself within my friends, but like it was like a challenge between me and the ledge or the bank or the quarter pipe or the rail. that I had in front of me. There was like
Yeah,
nothing else.
if you don't have that drive, like you could play soccer and not care, not practice, not do anything. But if you have that same type of attitude with skating, you're never gonna get anywhere. Like I heard in a
Exactly.
skateboarding interview the other day, like, you know, how many thousands of kids will get a skateboard for Christmas, and the minute they fall, they're done.
They're done.
So
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like what, like all these action sports weed out the people that truly don't care. So the only people that are left are the ones that really love it and are passionate about it.
Which is like a good thing, but in numbers way, it sucks because it could have been cool like to have like a couple of thousand more people buying skates.
Yeah. So all of our friends could, you know, do this for a living and not have to, you know, struggle to try and figure things out, you know?
Exactly. And so like one last question, and then I let you leave. And thank you again for your time, man. It's a really a blessing, and I do really appreciate your time here talking about all this kind of
Well,
stuff.
it's like I've been telling people, especially like the past week, what I've been telling people is I don't care what skates I'm riding, what the situation is. I will always skate hard and make things because it's what I love to do. Like I love to go out and film with my friends. I love to make things of them. I love to like film myself and get tricks and edit and make things. And I'm not going to stop skating as hard as I've skated in the past because I'm skating different skates. So it's because it's what I love to do. I love being creative and just going out and skating and making things.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. But like, tell me, what are you thinking is going to happen within the phase 4 in Marvel? What's going on right now?
Okay, this is like we could do a whole nother chat about this because that's something I get deep into. Obviously, I have comic book stuff hanging on my wall, but what I have heard and the way they're positioning it, I feel like the Avengers are going to get a new grouping because obviously everybody's gone, you know. So, and all of the things that I'm seeing get brought up on like the Disney Plus shows and everything, it's all new characters. So I think they're going to start introducing new characters, see who's the most popular, and then do like a new team. Yeah, and then just go from there. I feel like after Captain Marvel, it's going to end up being Secret Wars, something with like the Kree. Yeah, something with that. I think is going to happen.
Yeah. So
I'm going to watch any of it. I don't care. I'm so excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Man, I'm so hyped on that, dude.
That's the Winter Soldier run in Captain America is why I got back into comics. So seeing him in any of the movies, like I get super stoked. That's Winter Soldier, like Captain America Winter Soldier is my favorite movie of all time, period. Like regardless of Marvel or not, it's so good. That's my favorite movie.
Awesome. Then, yeah, Stefan, I really would like to thank you for your time. I see you here. I see here a lot of people showing a lot of love. So, yeah, it seems like people are enjoying it. So, thank you so much for your time. Stay safe, brother. And
man, I've been enjoying watching and seeing what everybody's up to and making sure everybody's okay. This is a great idea. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for your time, and I'm looking forward to see you hopefully soon. And yeah, have a great day and
stay safe. Stay inside for a while.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. All right, bud. It's great talking to you.
Thank you very much. Peace.
See you later.
Later.